They bring this Infiniti guy in, right? And this man, dang, did I get his name? I didn't even get his name. He pretty much is a man that was working at South Atlanta Infiniti, or Infiniti in South Atlanta, back in, back when the in 2015 or whatever. And I guess back then the police came to him and asked him to look at the pictures of the car in the drive-by video and to identify the car, which is extremely strange to me. You went and got somebody that was completely unrelated to the case and just went to him and said, "Hey, identify this car for us." The video's super blurry, and he's like, "Yo, that's for sure an Infiniti Q50." So, I mean, that's their proof. I mean, for him to be a part of this trial, he had to fly in from Charlotte. Like, y'all really flew somebody in from Charlotte to identify a vehicle that he didn't have anything to do with. He only involvement he had was the police brought him a picture and said, "What is this?" That's his only involvement. So, and his way of looking at it is saying, like, there's a shadow, there's like a kind of a weird reflection where the Infiniti emblem would be, so you can tell it's an Infiniti because you can see that there's a gap between the headlights where there's something there. So really, and I'm not even saying that it's not an Infiniti. What I'm saying is, for them to call this person for Infiniti when they already, for them to call this person to say that's an Infiniti because I could see a gap in the grill and that's where the emblem would be at. It's like, what are you doing? Honestly, what are you doing? That witness was for no reason at all, right? So we moving on from that. Wednesday was all argument. There was no juries there. They was all talking about evidence. That's why this episode, like the thumbnail for this says admissibility Olympics, because that's all we dealt with all week pretty much. What's admissible and what's not admissible. Like they went so crazy with like arguing over evidence this week. It just foolishness. Stuff that should have been done a long time ago, in my opinion. So you had them looking at videos of, Lil D, you had BB, you had Christian Eppinger. They just looking at videos, Instagram. What I thought was interesting is that they kept on calling those videos Instagram Live. And I did understand what the defense was saying. It said, like, you would see comments or you would see some type of engagement or interactions on the video. How did they get those videos, and somehow remove the profile pictures, they removed the names, they removed anybody watching, they removed the part that said live. So these are not screenshots of videos. It almost looks like Instagram themselves, the company, sent the state those videos from their database somewhere. I don't think that's what happened, but that's what it's looking like. So where did the state get those videos? What the defense is trying to say is that they might have been having a private call between each other, like in a group chat on Instagram, and the state grabbed those videos by extracting them from however they got them. Because that's definitely what it looks like. Those are not live video. We all know what an Instagram live video looks like. There's stuff all over the screen. There's reactions. There's things everywhere. So for them to call those live videos that are available to the public, and they was making public declarations about this and showing guns and all that, I don't know. They would have to prove that the public saw that, because there's no proof of it. There's no engagement on it at all. It don't even show whose profile it was on. So, they argued about all that, man. Lil D's phone being tapped. I mean, they keep on coming back to this stuff. Man. So they on the phone talking about, laughing like, yeah, I heard that boy got flipped under the bridge or whatever. And I guess that Shamel Drinks had got killed under the I-20 bridge in Mechanicsville. That's what they say. And they were supposedly on the phone talking about it. But Shard is like, yo, that shouldn't come in, because they're really just talking about it. They're not saying anything that would insinuate that they had anything to do with it. They was just saying, I heard that happen. Both of them actually, the one said, yeah, I heard that boy got flipped under the bridge. The other one is like, yeah, I heard about that. So it doesn't, on the surface, it doesn't sound like they are talking about anything they have any personal eyewitness knowledge of. So the judge was throwing stuff out. She was letting stuff in. It was seemed to me like she was actually excluding a lot of stuff. So I don't know. The judge was shutting Love down like all day. She didn't really like her arguments at all on Wednesday, honestly. So we can move on to what happened on Thursday, right? So we get to Thursday, And again, they bring Miss Latner's in, but I thought that it was an amazing thing with Miss Latner's. For all the OG trial followers, you know Miss Latner's is the queen of the sniffles, right? And she actually was not sniffling all crazy today. And you know, it's a good thing to see her being healthy. You understand? Because she was sick. It seems to me like she's been sick for like a good 9 months straight. You understand? So shout out to her for not having the crazy sniffles going on. They brought her again to talk about a cat report where there was a shooting incident. They let it play the 911 call, all that. Hey, my aunt got shot. Come help. You know what I mean? Craig, drop everything. Craig's in trouble. You know that whole thing. So then talked about that for a little bit. There was no cross examination. They let her go. Then they bring a young lady in named Denise Bell. Well, I say young lady, but she actually didn't look as old as she had described because she said she had a 48-year-old child. I was like, wow, she does not look old enough to have a 48-year-old child, but that's just me. So Love asked her how she is. She says, I'm a little nervous. She's like, can I do anything to make you feel better? Miss Bell is like, not really. You understand? And at the time, I didn't realize who she was. Then I realized that she was actually the person who was the victim of the shooting that happened in April 2015. So, we heard a few days ago, I think they was talking about evidence where they were saying that these guys, actually, when Sledge had picked, so when the fight happened at Crucial, Sledge was helping Lil D out, and they went and picked up Zachary. So it was Garlington, Zachary, and Sledge together. They hit up a couple houses. And I guess this is one of the houses they hit up, and they hit this lady up, right? So this is the victim of that situation. So, she's talking about the incident. She's saying like that night, I let my nephews in the house, whatever. I went back to my room. I was drinking my vodka. I had the bottle on the nightstand. So I'm just trying to get my drink on, and she was like, I went in my room, and next thing I know, I heard a bunch of loud sound, like a lot of shooting. And she was like, I got hit, but I didn't really feel the pain at first. So I didn't even know how bad it was. And she was like, I didn't even know how bad it was till I got to the hospital and they did surgery on me. And that's when I could actually feel how terrible it was. She said she stayed in the hospital for a month and a half. I was like, what? I was shocked by that because I'm thinking like the way she was describing it is like she couldn't even tell that she was even shot at all. So the fact that it took that much recovery time in the hospital alone is kind of crazy. She definitely looks traumatized. She didn't want to talk about it, even when she was getting teared up. I need Miss Fonnie Willis, if you ever get a chance to watch this, send your deputy district attorneys, assistant district attorneys, send them to sensitivity training. This lady is up there breaking down. Love is like, can you speak louder? Like she breaking down, let her get her breakdown on. You can't even she don't even know how to get the sympathy vote or none of that. Like she just get the barking on the lady because she ain't loud enough while she breaking down crying or whatever. You can't even really properly cry when somebody's telling you, yo, I can't hear you. I can't get my cry on when I got to talk louder. So I don't know what's up with Love with her witnesses. Like this is, the witnesses don't even get to break down in front of Love. Love is just too tough. She's tough on crime and she's tough on witnesses too. So yeah, that happened, spent a month and a half in the hospital, got there, they come back and no, they didn't take a break, but the defense decided not to cross-examine her either, which is smart. Like, why would you, she got shot and she got shot by people who already admitted and been punished for the crime. So there's really no defense for it. There's nothing you could do. The real thing about the shooting is this is one of those overt acts that happens outside of the 5-year window for count one. Remember, to be convicted of count one, you cannot solely be found guilty of anything that happened outside of 5 years prior to the indictment, right? Remember, Brian Steele made that whole argument, gave case law, all that type of stuff, right? So because this happened in 2015, they can say, yes, that is an overt act. But let's just say they don't find any other overt acts to be true except that one, even the Donovan Thomas murder. Let's say they don't find any other overt acts to be true except those shootings, either the Lil Wayne bus shooting, the Donovan Thomas murder, the Denise Bell shooting. If they don't find anything else but those to be overt acts that they're guilty of, then they cannot convict them of count one. It has to be something also that happened. One of the overt acts has to have happened within 5 years of the indictment, right? So keep that in mind as you decide and make predictions on whether or not you think these people will be found guilty or not. Something happened later on in that day where pretty much the jury, I actually don't know what happened with the jury, but something happened to the jury and they left for the day right after Denise Bell got off the stand. The judge is like, yo, come back at 2:00. Came back at 2, no jury, none of that. So I think that the jury is disgusted with what's going on. They do not want to be there. They don't care about this. I don't think they care about the witnesses anymore. I don't think they care about the victims anymore. I don't think they care about anything but getting this trial over with. And I think that they are going to get more and more desperate and start doing more desperate things to throw the trial off, like getting sick conveniently or somebody's dying or anything like that. I think that they are just fed up. I think they're finished. You can't keep people like this. This is bordering on inhumane, right? So then Friday gets here. Friday was a nothing day. They came in, talked for a little bit, and the judge is like, man, y'all go do lawyer work outside of court. We don't need to do this, but I'm not telling y'all to go home and enjoy yourself. I'm telling y'all that y'all need to be working on lawyer stuff all day and getting through this. Y'all need to be communicating with each other. The defense and the state, y'all need to work together and get through some of this evidence because this is holding everything up. And then they said they essentially said they don't know when the jury is going to be ready and back and available again. So I thought that was interesting. But hey,